Shalom, 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 Israel. This is Brother J. Israel coming to you on this holy Sabbath day to honor the Most High Yah, to bring glory to his name, to fellowship and worship with you, to keep his laws, statutes, and commands to the best of our ability, which is to honor his Sabbath day and do no work, to rest and focus on the Most High Yah. Last week we left off talking about Isaac and Rebekah, talking about how Jacob stole Esau's blessing, how he coerced his brother Esau into giving away his birthright, to how Rebekah favored Jacob over Esau. Isaac favored Esau, but Jacob ended up getting the blessing regardless because he tricked his father into getting the blessing. So he was shiesty, but he still had favor in the Most High eyes because he was shiesty in that particular situation. But once the Most High pick you, he doesn't care that if you have some flaws, because we all have flaws. He cares that your heart is peering towards him, not that you do everything perfect or that you do everything perfect with other people, other humans, other men and women, because you're not going to do that regardless. And once he has favor for you, he has favor for you. We have to remember that we don't know what the Most High thinks. We don't know why he picks who he picks and why he uses who he uses. So we have to be careful about looking down on people because they don't fit the world or society's view of what somebody special is, or what somebody who means so much is, because we know that the world is only going to consider you special if either you extremely wicked, you have a lot of money, or you're part of an in crowd or a big group or something. Other than that, the world don't care. They're not going to say you special in no instance. They don't care about you. And that's facts. If you're not doing wickedness, if you're not rich and famous, and the only way you're going to get rich and famous in this world typically is by doing wickedness. But if you're not one of those things, or if you're not part of a big group and you're not following some group, some society, some club, some gang, or something like that, and even if you are, typically you not important. Whatever the club or the gang is important, and they giving credit to the group. They not really giving credit to you. You just get a little credit because you part of the group. That's it. Other than that, the world not gonna care about you or think you important at all. But that doesn't mean that the Most High is not gonna think you important, because he usually picked the outcasts, the downtrodden, the people who forgotten about, the people who are mocked and shunned, because those are the people that he could work with. When you got everything going for you, or you think you know everything, or you part of all these groups and societies, you leaning on people. You're not leaning on the Most High. So typically, he not going to use you based off the scriptures, based off what we know about Yah and how it works. Okay, so Jacob, he had to leave and go to Laban, his uncle, his mother's brother, because of what he did as far as taking Esau's blessing. So Esau wanted revenge. Esau wanted to kill him. His mother told him basically, you got to get up out of here because your brother plans to kill you, or he thinking about that in his mind. So we can't let nothing happen to you. So we got to get you out of here. So he goes to his uncle Laban, and there he he meets his what ends up being his two of his wives. They're sisters, Leah and Rachel. His uncle was a shyster too, though. His uncle was shysty too, so Jacob originally wanted Rachel. She was the one that was beautiful in his eyes. But his uncle conned him into taking Leah first and telling him, oh, that's part of our custom, to take the older daughter first, even though he wanted the younger daughter. So he ended up getting the agreement was for 7 years of work to get Rachel. When it was time to get Rachel, he put Leah in the bed with Jacob. I know we'll say, well, how somebody put somebody in the bed with him? I assume the scriptures don't go into great detail, but I assume they were celebrating. He probably was drinking or something, and she slipped in the bed with him. He slept with her, and them times pretty much once you slept with a woman, you was gonna end up marrying her more than likely, unless she was a prostitute or something like that. So he convinces Jacob to marry Leah. They said Leah, she she was not like real pleasant on the eyes. What does the scripture say exactly? She had weak eyes. I don't know what that means exactly. Or delicate eyes. I don't know how that's not, but we just have to assume that she wasn't. They didn't say she was beautiful. They made specifically to say Rachel was beautiful. So she probably wasn't that attractive, or at least not that attractive to him. So Genesis 29:21. Then Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife. My time is completed. He talking about Rachel because he did the 7 years of laboring on Laban's on his land. So Laban brought together all the people of the place and gave a feast. But when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and gave her to Jacob, and Jacob lay with her. And Laban gave his servant Zilpah to his daughter as her maidservant. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, what is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me? Laban replied, it is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work. So his uncle Laban is basically trying to have the best of both worlds. He's steady getting work out of Jacob. So he getting 7 years here, 7 years there. So first 7 years was supposed to be for Rachel. He tricks him and he say, nah, you gonna take Leah. I'm gonna give him Leah. So he done got one daughter married off and he done got 7 years of work. Okay. So now he know Jacob still want Rachel. Back to the scriptures. 29:28. And Jacob did so. He finished the week with Leah, And then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his servant girl Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a maidservant. Jacob lay with Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he worked for Laban another 7 years. So he done got 14 years and two daughters married off to this man. So he getting labor and he getting security for his daughters, because in those times a woman needed a man as the Most High would have, made it to be. She needed a husband. It wasn't these jobs created for women so they can say, oh, well, I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself, and I can fight with my man, kick him out the house, or, we can be quick to leave a relationship or marriage because it don't mean nothing, because I think because I have a job and I can feed my family that I don't need a husband or a father. But we know that's nothing but Satan. We know that's nothing but Hashatan, and we know that's nothing but Satan using these wicked nations, these wicked people, teaching our women and teaching our men these things to break up our households and break up our communities. They didn't give women jobs. They didn't give Israelite black women jobs, and women all over the world. They didn't give them jobs and careers and put all these things in y'all mind or in their mind so that they could flourish. They did it so they can fight with the men. So it can be chaos in the home. So you can have weak homes and weak communities because it's chaotic. You don't have people, you got people in and out the home. This man, that man, this man, that man, or no man. It's just pure logic. It's wickedness, but it's logical wickedness. If it's no man, no husband, no father in the household, as the Most High Yah intended as the leader, it's going to be void of leadership. Now, we know I'm not telling sisters and I'm not telling brothers that every man is a good leader, every man is smart, every man is going to do right. The Most High know that's not true either. But he made the order that he made. That don't change the order just because some men wouldn't do right. Some men always did wrong. That still don't change the Most High order. You take the leadership. You take the things that the father provide to the child, the guidance, the protection, the security, the way fathers play with a child versus how mothers play with a child. If you ever notice, fathers have a unique way of playing with a child where the child really enjoys that and feels like a more kind of childlike mentality where the father can take his mind and kind of make it like a child for a little while as he play with his babies, and they love it. Mothers most of the time don't have that ability to go. You don't see too many mothers getting on the floor playing with toys and making up games and running around and doing that. That's not typically how most mothers work. They'll play with the child, but it's in a different manner. And I know y'all understand what I'm saying, so I'm not gonna keep breaking that down any further. But the Most High Yah made a man and a woman for a reason. He made father and mother for a reason. He didn't make it so it could be only one, only a father raising some children. That's gonna be devoid of a lot of things because the mother is supposed to be the nurturer. She brings the feminine energy, the feminine balance to the whole situation, or she should. And the man is supposed to bring the masculine energy and the balance, the logical thinking, because most women act off emotions. So he brings the logic, the woman brings the emotion. You blend it together, and if you serving the Most High Yah and order and structure is there, then it'll blend together right. But when you don't have those things, or when people don't overstand structure, or when you have what a man can't provide, so he feeling low or less about himself, then he trying to serve a separate role that he wouldn't naturally be in. This is how this society does. They take away the Israelite man's ability to make a living or to be sustainable through himself or through his community, his people. That's been stripped away, but that's due to the curses, and we're gonna get into that soon. But that's been stripped away, so now you depending on other people. Now you can't really be the man. You can't be the man of your house and the leader if you can't provide, if you're not respected, if the woman thinks she got all these other options, she can just get another man. If she not 100% in your corner, 100% behind Yah, behind Yah, and 100% behind you, then you'll never really get the respect you deserve. Because in her mind, she's always thinking, "Well, I could lead him. I got money. I could get another man. I can get two men. I can get a woman." This is what they thinking in this society. This craziness. And that's why they telling the sisters to do this. And many of our brothers, because it is extremely hard to be a strong man, many of our brothers, sometimes we crumble with all the weight and the pressure of everything. Or you got brothers out here that don't even want to be men. They don't want to be men psychologically and spiritually because it's so hard to be an Israelite man, to be a so-called black man. It's so hard that you got some of them that's willing to be a woman or willing to be they want to be with another man so they don't have to raise a family. They don't have to have children or be responsible for children, plus whatever different things that happen to them, whether it be abuse, it be all this perverted things they looking at, the porn, all these commercials and different things telling you, oh, it's okay to be a homosexual and all this different stuff. And that's what you should be. But where are the things that are telling an Israelite man or woman that they should be following Yah? They should be together, heterosexual. They should be raising a family. They should be showing respect to each other. They should be showing tenderness and love. You should not be choosing a job over your family to where when you come home, you don't have no patience, you don't have no love, you don't have no time to give, whether that's male or female, because the job is more important than your family. You shouldn't be choosing that over that because you sacrificing everything just to keep a roof over your head or just to keep some food in the refrigerator, but it's always another way. You have to try to find another way. You can't sacrifice your whole, because that's no different than kind of selling your soul or doing wickedness. You sacrificing everything. It's some difference, but you get what I'm saying. You're sacrificing everything just to make that dollar. So if you don't have no time for the Most High Yah, you don't have no time for your wife or a husband, if it's the wife. And when I say husband and wife, you don't have to be necessarily married on no piece of paper, because we both know that if you're laying down and going inside this person, y'all living together, y'all having children, in the Most High eyes, that's your husband or your wife. But you can't sacrifice everything for no job to where you don't have patience for your children. You don't even have time to teach your child nothing. So what's the point of raising them, making sure they got a house or somewhere to live and some food, but you're not going to teach them nothing? If you don't teach them nothing, then the world going to take them and they going to lead them astray, and they going to either be wicked or lost out here anyway. So you're not really doing your job either way it go. And that's the struggle that we in because of the curses. Many of us have to choose a job over everything. So by the time they get home, they exhausted. They don't have nothing left. Some of us can't get jobs or can't keep a consistent job. Can't find a place where you fit. Excuse me. Or you work in a job that doesn't produce enough to where you can make a living. You can't really live off the job. You can buy a little something, but you can't really buy anything because everything costs too much. Inflation, corruption. These are all the things that we going through in these times. But it's nothing new under the sun. All of these things have happened before. Treachery. This is an uncle. We talking about Jacob and Laban. Jacob did treachery against Esau, against his own father, tricking him. But it was within the Most High's will. We didn't know that. He might not even know that, but it was. Laban tricked Jacob, so he got the same something that happened to him. He got it back on him. You don't get away with nothing. So the same way he was tricking his father, he was tricking Esau. His uncle said, "Well, I'm finna trick you. I'm finna get years of work out of you for these women." 29 and 31. Genesis 20, chapter 29, verse 31. When Yah saw that Leah was not loved, he opened her womb. But Rachel was barren. So he had the two wives. Jacob had Leah and Rachel. But he didn't really love Leah. So the Most High said, "Well, I'm going to open up her womb and start giving her some children so she can have something to love. And, maybe he'll love her more or whatever the reasons was. So she wouldn't be in grief, obviously, because I'm sure if you got a husband that don't love you, especially if it's multiple wives, and you know that he love another woman, or whether that's a husband and he got a mistress or a woman on the side or whatever, and you know he love the other woman and he don't even love you at all like that, then of course you're gonna be in total grief. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, which means in Hebrew, "For he has seen my misery." For she said, "It is because Yah has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." So the first son was Reuben. Jacob's first son was Reuben. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Because Yah heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." So she named him Simeon, which means one who hears in Hebrew. So now it's two. She got two. Leah has two sons by Jacob, Reuben and Simeon. Again she conceived, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him three sons." So she named him Levi. And Levi means attached. Then she conceived again. And when she gave birth to a son, she said, "This time I will praise Yah." So she named him Judah, which sounds like for praise. Or in Hebrew, it was no J, so it'd be Yehuda or Judah. Then she stopped having children. So she had four sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. And then she stopped having babies for a while. So she gave them four sons. Chapter 30. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous, which, again, we know women, and we know our women, Israelite women, but we know women also in general. The one wife, or the one girlfriend, or the one mistress, whatever. And this ties into, we have to stop acting strictly off emotion, especially when it comes to the Most High. Sisters and brothers, you read your Bible. Baby mamas, Israelite men having baby mamas, multiple women, multiple girlfriends, mistresses, multiple wives. That's all through the history. Whether you see, whether we deem it, you deem it personally as right or wrong, or it fits your life, that's your choice. I'm not saying that the Most High forced you, but to act like that's not a part of our history and customs, or to act like you surprised that uh, Israelite men like multiple women, to be surprised that your man looking at another woman or has some desire for another woman, you act like you must be slow to that fact. You must have been reading your scriptures. You must don't look at the world like that's never gonna change. A man is not gonna only think about you or only want you or only see you his whole life. That's not typical. It may can happen for somebody, but you can tell that that's not natural and that's not typical, because that's why so many problems trying to have relationships the way that these other nations are trying to tell you to have relationships. Oh, you basing it off just love and some type of emotional feeling, or it's one person for everybody. How you know that? For one person for everybody would mean it would have to be a complete equal number of men and women. Is that true? No. That would mean it would have to be an available amount of men and women. Is that true? No. You have so many brothers locked up in prison. So if brothers are locked up in prison and people are passing away, what are all the sisters supposed to do if it's not a equal number of Israelite men available? What about if a woman has a husband and then he passes away, or she has a man and he passes away? Then what? Is she supposed to be lonely the rest of her life? Not according to the word, not according to Yah, no. But then the world is treacherous, wicked. How can it teach you that it's somebody for everybody, but then they telling people to go to different genders? I mean the same gender, I'm sorry. So it's like that none of this stuff makes sense. It's just a free for all in the world, and they just trying to tell you based off of what they want to tell you, based about off anything that'll go against the Most High. If the Most High say, well, men had multiple women, men and women be fruitful and multiply, they'll tell you no, only have one or two babies. They'll shun you or make you think something wrong with you if you got more than two children. That goes against Yah. Yah said be fruitful and multiply. If you having more and more people are coming in, then that continues your legacy, that continues your lineage. That's more of his treasured possession. He said our people was his treasured possession. He don't want you aborting babies and trying to avoid not having children and all that craziness. No matter what's going on in the world, because it's always been a lot of things going on. Maybe not every single year, maybe not every single decade, but in our history, we've always had a lot of turmoil and different things going on. And that's because of the things that we don't be doing. But the Most High don't say, well, oh, because y'all going through something, stop having babies. The Most High said that a man is not supposed to lay with a man as he would lay with a woman, and that's vice versa. It's supposed to be man and woman. The world tell you something different. The Most High said it's your choice, obviously, because all the brothers did it. A lot of the brothers did it. It's a male's choice and the female's choice if they have multiple unit families. But it was done for a reason. It was done for security for the family. It was done so it can be more hands on deck to help the family. It was done so women wouldn't be out here by themselves struggling, can't really raise their families, and people will say, well, oh, in this society, women are raising the children and they doing fine. Have you looked around? If you think that we doing fine as a people, you insane. Have you looked around as to the mentality of our people, what they stand for, what they believe in, how the young generation, many of them act, how they act towards their parents, how they act towards each other? We far from fine. So taking something that the Most High make a certain way and changing it around and following other nations or listening to what they say, you ain't never gonna have no success. Back to the scriptures. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." This is Sarah. This is Genesis 30:1. She was jealous of her sister, so she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of Yah, who has kept you from having children?" So he's saying basically, I'm laying with you, I'm having sex with you, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I can't make you have a baby. That's the Most High has to open your womb. Ain't nothing I can do but lay with you and put my seed into you. That's all I can do. Then she said, "Here is Bilhah, my maidservant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and that through her I too can build a family." So surrogates, mistresses, multiple women. I can't have a baby, so he'll take my maid servant, my friend, whatever. This let's hire a woman. That it's the same type of thing. It's been done before. Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "Yah has vindicated. He has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this, she named him Dan, which means he has vindicated in Hebrew. So now he got the 4 sons. It's kind of hard because he got a lot of baby mamas. Jacob got a lot of baby mamas. He got a lot of women, a lot of wives. He got 4 women that he been laying with in total. We gonna get to the rest. So he got Leah, and he already got 4 children with her. 4 sons. Let me go in order. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. That's with Leah. He been laying with and having sex with his wife Rachel, but she can't get pregnant, so she gave him Bilhah. He laid with Bilhah and just had a son, Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore him Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, "I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won." So she named him Naphtali. Naphtali means my struggle. So now Bilhah has 2 sons with him. So now we at 6. She got Dan and Naphtali, or Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her maidservant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. So now he got another. He got another one, Zilpah. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Jacob said, I mean, then Leah said, I'm sorry, verse 11, 30 and 11. Then Leah said, "What good fortune." So she named him Gad, which means good fortune or a troop in Hebrew. So now Zilpah then gave him Gad. Leah's servant, so that's 7. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, "How happy am I? The women will call me happy." So she named him Asher, which means happy. So now Zilpah then gave him Gad and Asher. So now he's at what? Nine. Nine children. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out in the fields and saw some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, "Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take my son's mandrakes too?" "Very well," Rachel said. "He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." Now this is wild. Now they bargaining their husband off. She bargaining her husband. So since he got multiple wives, let's make sense of it. This is wild. Since he got multiple wives, obviously they have days where each one probably sleep with him. It's probably like assigned days because she says, "Very well," Rachel said, "he can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." So for some plants that she wanted, she basically giving up her day that she would sleep with her husband. So let's just say Wednesday was her day to sleep with her husband. She's saying, "Okay, Leah, you can have my Wednesday and you can lay with him tonight. You can get you some extra penis or peen, as my woman would say. You could get you some peen." So she giving it up to her and saying, "You can have the husband tonight and lay with him. Just give me some of them plants." So they even bargaining their husband off to each other. It's funny and it's kind of wild, but this is our people, and this is how things happen. And somebody might say, "Well, I don't want that chaos in my life," and I would tell people in this world, especially once Adam and Eve broke the covenant with Yah, once our people kept doing wickedness, the Most High had to destroy the world, and only let Noah and his family survive because of the wickedness. We went into slavery. He bought us out in Egypt. We get in the desert. We still being disobedient, cursing Yah, choosing other gods. He take us out of that. We get comfortable. We being disobedient again. I know I'm going ahead, but you got to go back and forth. And even all the way to this current time, disobedience, not following the Most High. But once the curses got settled on us in the past, that was prophecy. That was the Most High making a covenant to punish us, making a promise to punish us. And once that got placed on, all of this stuff was going to happen. Not knowing what to do, being scattered around, being up under nations, following these other things, not knowing, not having sound mind, women ruling over you, children going into captivity. All these things is going to happen. So it's going to be chaos to some extent, regardless. And people be fronting and acting like the way they doing relationships and handling things now that it's functioning well. Please, people, we so dysfunctional. It's a shame. So when people be like, "Oh, if my man had two wives, it would be dysfunctional." You don't know that because he ain't never had no two wives, and it's dysfunctional now, more than likely. But I'm not even promoting it or disagree. I'm just letting it be known that this is what happened. So I'm not gonna go against it because this is what our forefathers did. So I'm not going against it. And it wasn't unrighteous. It wasn't like a sin. It wasn't something that the Most High was against. It was something that was done to further our legacies and to bring in life into the world and to make the households more functional and things of that sort. So I'm not going to go against it. I'm not saying this for everybody. That's for the Most High to decide, for you to decide as an individual or whatever. I'm just saying all this nonsense about, oh, I want my man only to see me, and these brothers are cheaters. That's one of the main complaints. Like, well, if that's the case, our men have always been cheaters. Ain't no such a thing as no cheater. That's some made up worldly crap. Yeah, you shouldn't be lying and deceiving your woman. No, it should be a partnership. Everybody should know what's going on or whatever. But having multiple women is not no sin, and it's not doing nobody wrong. The only way it's doing wrong is if you sitting up lying and your woman don't know what time it is or whatever. So let's just get that out the way. Back to the scriptures. So we got 9 sons so far. Verse 17, 30 and 17. Y'all listen to Leah, and no, I'm sorry. Let's go to 16. So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. You must sleep with me, she said. I have hired you. They talk to their husband, talking about I hired you. So basically, the message to the brothers would be, if you do get these multiple women and these multiple wives, and most brothers know this, and if they don't know, they'll find out quickly. That's a lot of work, bruh. You working for them. Notice she said, I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. That's work. So she's saying, come put in this work tonight. I hired you. Let's go. And you got to be willing, and you got to be healthy. You got to be willing. You got to have enough love, patience, support to go around, money, etc. If you're going to have all these women and wives. Or if they got the money, you got to have the authority and the leadership, and typically in this world, that's not going to happen if they got the money. So the brothers who talking about that and hoping for that, it ain't going to work unless you got Yah at your center, and the Most High Yah is your head, and you got the things in place to do it, and you got to be ready. It's hard enough with one woman a lot of times, let alone 3 or 4. And if you can't produce, and the brothers know what I'm talking about, sisters know what I'm talking about. If you can't produce for one woman, you sure don't need 4. Because if you can't produce for one and she angry with your production in the bedroom, just imagine if you got 3 or 4 that's angry at your production in the bedroom, then you're going to have some problems, because then they're going to be looking out to other things and all that. So don't just think and assume, oh, I can do this and it's right for me. Nah, it ain't right for everybody. It ain't right for most people in today's times. But you ain't going to have no success at nothing if the Most High Yah ain't your head, unless you doing wickedness. And it might seem like you having some success in the world, but the price that you gonna pay when it all come crashing down in the world, and the price you gonna pay in the afterlife, it ain't hardly worth it. So try to do righteous. Try to do righteousness. So she said, I have hired you with my son's mandrake. She hired him for some plants. So he slept with her that night. Y'all listened to Leah, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a 5th son. Then Leah said, Yah has rewarded me for giving my maidservant to my husband. So she named him Issachar. And Issachar in Hebrew it means reward. It sounds like reward. So Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a 6th son. So she gave him Issachar. That's the 5th son by her. So from Leah, he got Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and Issachar. She gave him a 6th son. Then Leah said, Yah has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor, because I have borne him 6 sons. So she named him Zebulun, which means honor. Zebulun means honor. So now you have to write this down sometime, because it's just so many. Hold on 1 second. Sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Okay. So 7 children from Leah. It's tough. That's another thing. You be having all these children, even yourself, it'd be hard to remember their names. It'd be hard for people to keep up. But the Most High said, "Be fruitful and multiply." So it's a blessing. It's not a bad thing. But we also have to just talk about the reality of it too. So from Leah, Jacob had Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. So 6 sons and then 1 daughter, Dinah. So 7 children in total, 6 sons and 1 daughter. From Bilhah, he had Dan and Naphtali. From Zilpah, he had Gad and Asher. And now we're going to get to Rachel soon, because Rachel is going to give him some children. The Most High is going to open up Rachel's womb, and she going to give him some children. 30 and 22. Then Yah remembered Rachel. He listened to her and opened her womb. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, "Yah has taken away my disgrace." She named him Joseph, which means "may he add" in Hebrew. And she said, "May the Most High add to me another son." So she asking for another one. She had Joseph. So now we at 11 for Jacob. 11 children. Well, 12 because of Dinah, but 11 sons. We had 11 sons. Because remember, he had 12 sons. So we waiting on this last one. So eventually, she had another son, and the last son was Benjamin. So we're going to go over everybody one more time. Leah, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun. And Dinah was the daughter. Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. Bilhah, Dan, and Naphtali. Zilpah, Gad, and Asher. And this is what makes up the 12 tribes. This is the lineage of the 12 tribes, excluding Dinah, because Dinah was the daughter. Again, we have to learn from the Bible, learn from the Most High Yah. Lineage comes from, of course, it's your mother and your father, but the truth is, lineage was measured by your father, paternally. Even in DNA, it's measured more by your paternal DNA. They lie to you in this world and try to tell you, "Oh, it's by the mother, everything is through the mother," because that's just them trying to exclude the Israelite man and men, period. Exclude the man out of the equation when it comes to children. And you know, in this society, that's what they do. They treat a man like he don't matter. Like only thing matters is whoever the mother is. That is what they do. That's a perversion of what it's supposed to be. They try to treat a father like if a father didn't matter, you cannot produce without the male. You can't produce without his seed. And if the seed is inside the man, it's really not as hard as we make it. It's just that we don't think because we've been cut off from thinking, and then all these distractions and all this wickedness causes us to not think. Excuse me, it's a little hot in here. Open this window. It causes us to not think. What do they call sperm? Semen. If you break it down, the word see men. Just put it on a piece of paper and write semen. If you add another E, It's see men. See men coming into the world, men and women. Whenever we say men, we talking about women too. Because a woman, the term woman, the word woman, is just man with womb putting on. Woo. One man. People coming to the world through their fathers. DNA, haplogroups, all that stuff is more determined by paternal lineage. You can determine it by maternal lineage as well. The Most High says, go off the lineage of your father more so than your mother. We're not discrediting the sisters. We're not discrediting how important being a woman is and being a mother. It's not about that. It's just about the way of the order. And we can have whatever. You have to take emotions out of it. The Most High don't care about your emotions when it comes to what He want to do. He not doing stuff based off our emotions. That whether one or two of us, or 10 of us, or 100 of us feel like it should be done a different way, that He gonna change everything He do because somebody got a feeling about something or because they offended about something. A lot of times you would talk about things in biblically, and people act like they personally offended. Women sometimes be like, well, why is men the head? Why he make a man first? Like she's mad. Well, you could be mad all you want to. What's your anger gonna do? Try to put your anger up against the Most High Yah. See how far you get. You can't be mad at the men. We didn't make the order. It is what it is. Then in this world, you might even have some brothers talking about why women get to have the babies. And you be like, huh, bro? Something wrong with you. That's wickedness. What you mean? That's what the Most High chose. So that's what they get. They get that glory. And we have to get back to that points as people. Sisters, y'all got to get back to the point of seeing, having a baby and your children being a glory. And not looking at it strictly as a burden. Brothers, too. You can't look at it as a burden. Your child is supposed to be a blessing. That's your lineage living on. That means the Most High blessed you enough to say, I'm going to let you continue. I'm going to let a part of you continue. Because it's like, it's a replica. It's like taking a fax machine and faxing your DNA into another person. Faxing it and making another page, or copying it and making another page. But it's important to know too, when we laying down with different women, choosing a virtuous woman or as virtuous as you could get, it's tough on both ends. It's tough for the sisters to find a virtuous man and a man that has a good spirit and good heart, but you got to seek it out. You can't just think it's going to come from everybody, because we know most people ain't righteous. And brothers too, you have to seek out a righteous woman, because you don't want to put your DNA into somebody wicked. And sisters, you don't want a man putting his photocopying wickedness into your womb, into your spirit. Cause what you think gonna come out? The machine. What you think gonna come out of you if somebody wicked put something into you? It's a good chance that it's the product gonna be wicked, the child gonna be wicked, or they may be kind of half and half. They may do wickedness sometime because it's on their spirit from their father. And if you righteous, they might do righteousness sometime. But it's going to be that push and pull. But it's more likely if you take two righteous spirits, two righteous parents, and put them together, you probably got a much better chance that child going to do righteousness, because the spirit is already on them on both sides. And then on top of that, if the father righteous, then he's going to teach the child righteousness. If the mother's righteous, she going to teach the child righteousness. So that child got a great chance. If you got two wicked parents, the chance that child gonna be righteous is, unless the Most High Yah put that righteousness into that child, because He got something specifically for that child to do, that child ain't gonna be righteous because the wicked spirits is already on the child, and if the parents are both wicked, that's what they gonna teach them. You could see it in Hollywood, or what you really should call Holly weird, all the time. They put that wickedness on their children. Then you look up and be like, well, dang, why is this child acting like that? Oh, we can't be surprised that this child is confused and talking about they don't know their gender and they want to go with the same gender, or they acting crazy and insane. Well, look what they parents is crazy and insane. Look what their parents probably didn't put them through. Look what they probably didn't let them people do to them. They didn't probably let them be molested, let them be exposed them to all type of wicked rituals and did all type of things to that child. So of course they gonna be nuts. Of course they gonna be wicked. That's how they raised them. You should expect no less. You should expect no less. Back to the scriptures. So we're gonna skip over Jacob's dealings with Laban. They was going back and forth. Jacob tricked Laban again with the speckled and spotted goats and sheep. So it's just two con men, two shysters going back and forth. He ended up breaking away from Laban and leaving with his family and all his children, all his wives. He met up with his brother Esau at some point, and they kind of reconciled, but they never trusted each other. And we're gonna go forward to Genesis 34. Genesis chapter 34. Dinah and the Shechemites. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, the daughter Leah had born to Jacob, went out to visit the women of the land. When Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and violated her. So he raped her. He raped her. His heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl, and he spoke tenderly to her. And Shechem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl as my wife." So he took her. She was probably a virgin, I'm sure. He laid with her. He raped her. He violated her. He desired her, and instead of going about it the right way and trying to ask the family, ask the father, ask Jacob for her hand and see if he would, he would allow her to be married, since they was a different people and he pretty much knew they wasn't gonna go for that, he just took her. He took the poo-poo without, and then he want to come later and say, well, you know, can you, to his father, can you get her and ask, can she be my wife? And it's like, so he did the wrong order and he violated. When Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been defiled, his sons were in the field with his livestock, so he kept quiet about it until they came home. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk with Jacob. Now Jacob's sons had come in from the field as soon as they heard what had happened. They were filled with grief and fury because Shechem had done a disgraceful thing. He had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by laying with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should not be done. But Hamor said to them, "My son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife, intermarry with us." So when they say intermarry, that ain't, that's usually they talking about a foreign people. So they say intertwine the cultures, intertwine the people. Intermarry with us. Give us your daughters and take our daughters for yourselves. But our people wasn't doing that. They weren't supposed to do that. They wasn't doing that, going to the foreigners. So they kind of already knew that they weren't going to allow that. And that's why the son probably took her in the first place and slept with her and raped her, because he knew that they weren't going to just give him to her as his wife and to be able to lay with her just off of his own merit. So he took it, and then after he took it, he gonna say, come back, double back, like, yeah, you should give me to her as my wife. Now, if that was our people and something like that happened, then at a certain amount of time, then they probably would make you take her as their wife. They may do something else to you, but they wouldn't necessarily kill you. It just depend on the circumstance. You would have to go before the elders and see, they would make a decision on what should be done. But if you did do something wild, a lot of times they would say, okay, you stuck with this woman, you gonna marry her, you better treat her right, and we gonna be watching you. Just in case you do something else, then we gonna kill your ass. In this case, they foreigners, so that he not giving that luxury. And I know that's what, but we got to go off what the scriptures say. A lot of people would say, dang, you. So if one of the brothers raped a woman that was an Israelite, he would just get to marry the woman. That was one of the things that was said. But the concept is, if you're going to sleep with this woman, you're not just going to be sleeping with women or raping women or doing bad things to women and then tossing her to the side and it'll all be all good. You either going to be stuck with her, we going to kill you, beat you, whatever the people decide that's your punishment. And then because intercourse in the Most High eyes is so serious, we see it as one thing. It's a spiritual bind. So it's kind of like if that woman was pure, she was a virgin, and you didn't enter her and you didn't put your semen into her, you didn't put your spirit and your lineage, your DNA into her, then you stuck with her. And she stuck with you. It's not a just hop around. A woman just hop from this man, this man, this man, this man. That's not how the Most High intended it to be. 34:8. But Hamor said to them, my son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife, intermarry with us. Give us your daughters and take our daughters for yourselves. You can settle amongst us. The land is open to you. Live in it, trade in it, and acquire property in it. Then Shechem said to Dinah's father, so he said to Jacob and her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask. So after you take my daughter and do what you want with her, then you're going to ask favor in our eyes. Only give me the girl as my wife. Because their sister Dinah had been defiled, Jacob's son replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, we can't do such a thing. We can't give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. Because remember, it is the custom from the covenant that the Most High Yah made with Abraham that all Hebrew men, all Israelite men are supposed to be circumcised. So they use that to trick them, like, oh, y'all not circumcised, so we can't give our sister to you because you ain't circumcised. We can't give our different women to y'all and take y'all women and do that, start mixing the groups because y'all ain't circumcised. So they say, we will give our consent to you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. So they all got to get they foreskin on their penis cut. Then we will give you our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. So this is what they tell them. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go. Their proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man, who was the most honored of all his father's household, lost no time in doing what they said because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. So he wanted her so bad. He like, yeah, I'll get circumcised. Let's go. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of their city to speak with their fellow townsmen. These men are friendly toward us, they said. Let them live in our land and trade in it. The land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters and they can marry ours. But the men will consent to live with us as one people only on the condition that our males be circumcised as they themselves are. Won't their livestock, their property, and all their other animals become ours? So let us give our consent to them, and they will settle among us. So these other people, they're agreeing to this. These Hivites, they're agreeing to this because they want to mix with the Israelites. They want to mix with our people. So they saying, well, we'll get what they get. We'll have they livestock. We can have their women. They can have our women. We can basically kind of become one people if we agree to this. All the men who went out of the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, obviously, you get your penis cut, it's going to be some pain. That's why the Most High established. The Most High know more than we ever could ever possibly think to know. That's why the Most High said, do it when the children are 8 days old. That's his covenant he established. He determined whatever day for whatever his personal reason, but part of the physical part of it was because the younger you do it, the less painful it is. When you do it as you become older, you a teenager, you a grown man, you're going to be in pain for a while. You might be laid up for a week or two or three, hurting with an ice pack on your thing or whatever, because you in pain. You ain't going to be able to go about your regular day. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every male. They put Hamor and his son Shechem to the sword and took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city, where their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and in the fields. So Simeon and Levi, they killed the men. They took the city, they took the stuff out the city and they looted it. They say Jacob's son. So Simeon and Levi might have just did the killing, and some of the other brothers might have helped came and loot the city, or it might have just been Simeon and Levi. They took their flocks, their donkeys, all that stuff. They carried away all their wealth and all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have brought trouble on me by making me a stench to the Canaanites and Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed. But they replied to their father. They replied, should we have treated our sister like a prostitute? So basically they saying like we ain't going, Pop. Should we have just let him take our sister and have sex with her? Should we have sold off our sister for some money or for some wealth? Money is not always the physical money. Money can be goods or services, things that make money. But they like, we not finna prostitute our sister, so they took revenge. They took revenge for their sister. These are Israelites. This is the type of stuff that we've done. This is the type of stuff that we do. All of these things we have to learn and pay attention to so we can know, like, what people are we talking about? All right, we're going to go ahead a little bit. We're going to move ahead. We're going to talk about Joseph, specifically Jacob's son. Many of y'all might know this story. So later on, Jacob lived chapter 37, Genesis 37. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph. Israel is Jacob. The Most High changed his name to Israel. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him in his old age, and he had made a richly ornamented robe for him. So Jacob, who is Israel, Israel made a robe, special robe for Joseph because Joseph was his favorite. So even that concept of favorites, people be like, don't play favoritism. Look, even if people didn't want to play favoritism, it would still be favoritism because you like what you like. You love what you like, what you love better. You like what you like better. You might like 7 flavors of ice cream, but it's still 1 or 2 that you like better. You might have 5 children, but whether we like it or not, it's still going to be 1 or 2 that you like better, that you have more favor in your eyes, that you love a little bit more. But we are made in the image of Yah. The Most High Yah has favorites and favoritism. So, I mean, we can't expect no less for us to have favorites and favoritism. The Most High Yah got favoritism. He pick who he want to pick. And we can't be mad at it because he chose us out of favoritism. He chose Israel. He chose our people and made us his favorites. It wasn't because we were so great or we were so righteous. We know that wasn't the case. It's because he chose us as his favorite for whatever his reason was. His treasured possession out of all the nations. So Israel made his son a richly ornamented robe. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him. So they hated Joseph, and they could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood up right, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said to them. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream. And at this time the sun and the moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me." So in the dream he said the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to him. When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him. So Israel, Jacob, his father, rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers was jealous of him because his father kept the matter in mind. So dreams can be literal and figurative. In the dream, The sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to Joseph. The sun and the moon represented his parents. So it represented Jacob, Israel, his father, Israel. And it represented his mother, Rachel. That's the sun and the moon. And the 11 stars is all his brothers. So that's the interpretation of the dream. The Most High Yah gave him dreams, and he would see things in his dreams. And he knew how to interpret dreams, which will come into play later. So in his dream, it was revealed to him that his parents and his brothers, they're going to bow down to him. He's going to be over them. Now, he didn't know exactly, if it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. He didn't know these things. Verse 12. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them. Very well, he replied. So he said to him, go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me. Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, what are you looking for? He replied, I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks? They have moved on from here, the man answered. I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they said they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of those cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams. So they plotting to kill him. They like, man, he talking all this stuff about his dreams and we gonna bow down to him. If we kill him, then ain't no more of that dreaming. That's basically what they said. And we know it ain't gonna come true if we kill him. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of our father, Israel, who is Jacob. I'm tired of Israel looking over him with favor and liking him better than us, man. We finna get rid of him. Jealousy, envy, wickedness. We can't have it. That jealousy and that envy, when that spirit get into you, if you allow that spirit to fester and get into you, man, you will do anything. They plotting to kill their brother. Verse 21, 37 and 21. When Reuben is the oldest son. When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. Let's not take his life, he said. Don't shed any blood. Throw him into this cistern here in the desert. Don't lay a hand on him. Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So Reuben's plan was to just try to ease the tension, to try to spare the boy's life, and like, okay, don't kill him, just throw him in here. Then he figured later on he could come back and help him or whatever. He probably didn't want to go too far against his brothers, because even if just because he the oldest, even if he like, well, yeah, I'm finna try to go against what my brother's saying, well, it's still 10 against 1. Or even if him and Joseph fought together, it's 10 against 2. They probably would lose, I'm sure. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the richly ornamented robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. So a cistern is basically a well, like a well that water is in. Now the cistern was empty, and there was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites, and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. His brothers agreed. So now the Most High is changing their hearts around a little bit. They getting some softness. They wanted to kill him. They was enraged with wickedness. Now they saying, okay, let's just sell him. They like, let's not put no blood on our hands. It ain't because they righteous, because if they was righteous, then they wouldn't be doing what they was doing. But because of that jealousy and that wickedness that got into them, they was willing to hurt their brother. They still hurting them by selling them into slavery, but at least they not killing them. So at least they do have some softness to their heart, and it is some type of goodness in them. But they just doing wickedness in this moment. But it's all part of the Most High Yah's plan. They don't know it. Joseph don't know it, but it's part of the Most High Yah's plan. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern, out the well, and they sold him for 20 shekels of silver. So that's about 8 ounces of silver. They sold him for 8 ounces of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern, so Reuben was gone, and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. So when they talk about tearing their clothes or putting on sackcloth in these times, our people doing that, obviously that's grief, that's pain, that's hurt, tearing their clothes, crying, being in grief. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the ornamented robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it and see whether it's your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe." They say, "Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn into pieces." Well, this is what Israel. That's not what they saying, but this is what Israel thinking, because they dipped it in the blood. He assuming Joseph must be dead. This is his robe that he wears. They came home. His brothers, who I should be able to trust his brothers, they're his brothers. They saying that, something happened to him. Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on a sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "in mourning will I go down to the grave to my son." So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. So they brother done been sold. They done sold their brother to these Midianites, these Ishmaelites. People can have multiple terms of who they are as a people, multiple names. So these Midianites, these Ishmaelites, then sold him off into Egypt, into the house of Potiphar, who is one of Pharaoh's officials. So now they brothers in a whole nother land. They father in grief. They father think that a wild animal or something then killed Joseph and he dead. But all the brothers know otherwise. Even Reuben, but and even though he didn't want nothing to happen to the boy, I guess he don't got the heart to tell the father, and he don't want to go against the other brothers because they probably will kill him or do something to him. And the other brothers, of course, don't want the secret revealed of what they did, so they letting their father and their mother believe, or his mother believe, that he's dead, and they done sold their brother off. But this is what wickedness will do to you. And you can't allow these spirits to get into you, this jealousy and coveting. This is why the Most High said these different things. Coveting other people's belongings, coveting their wife or things that they have, or being jealous and all these things. The Most High knows all, so he don't want you to have these spirits, because he know what these spirits can lead to. You'll be willing to kill, steal, do anything when you jealous, when you envious, when you covet and want what other people have. That's why he gave us the laws and commands. And he intended for us to not even need these laws and commands because we wouldn't even know no sin had Adam and Eve not did what they did. Everything is tied in together. This is all our history. So we learning how we got up to this point. So we know, well, how did all this stuff develop? All this wickedness, all these things, and what did the Most High really have intended? The Most High didn't intend for none of this stuff to happen, but we do have free will to do what we want. Now, it's a lot of questions that we can't answer because questions come up like, well, why would the Most High allow it to be Hashitan or Satan? Why would he allow that? Why would he allow any wickedness into the world? We can't answer that question. Some say because it's because of balance. Some say everybody that's been created has free will, whether they want to do right or do wrong, whether they want to follow the Most High Yah or not. And we know there's truth in that. The Most High don't force you to serve Him, to love Him, because it's just like a relationship in the physical. Do you want a person that love you because they love you? Do you want a person to be faithful and true to you, honor you, respect you because of they care, they love for you, because how much you mean to them? Or would you want to rather force somebody to love you? Do you want to if you're a man, do you want a wife that only love you because you beat her up and you scream at her to love you and then she love you, or you want her to love you because she loves you naturally? If you're a wife, do you want a husband to love you only because you manipulate him, or because you give him money, or he only love you when you have sex with him only, and then whenever you not having sex with him, he hates you? Or do you want him to love you all the time and love you naturally? It's the same thing with the Most High. We made in His image. He wants you to love Him naturally, and He say, "Well, I'm not gonna force you to love me. I love you. I created you. I chose you as an Israelite to be my chosen people. So I placed you on a high pedestal. But if you don't love me and place me on a high pedestal and follow me and honor me and don't have no other gods besides me, I'm not gonna force you. But you are gonna have to pay the consequences and repercussions for what you do or don't do. That's facts. That's life, whether we like it or not. So this is the point that we at. We're paying for the things that our forefathers and mothers, years and years and years, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, the things that they did, the things that they didn't do, we paying the consequences for that. You ain't no such thing as fair when you talking about the Most High. He don't deal. That's a man-made concept. He don't deal in no fair. It's His way or no way. His way or punishment. I ain't gonna even say His way or no way. It's His way or suffering, basically. So that is no way, but no, that's no way we should want to live. It's His way or suffering. If you do it His way, let's go to the scriptures. It ain't nothing I'm making up. So y'all don't say or think it's nothing I'm making up. Or he just saying, he just telling us anything. No. Deuteronomy 5. Deuteronomy 5 and 6. I am the Most High your Elohim, who brought you out of Egypt. These are the 10 commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 26. I am the Most High Yah who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. 7. You shall have no other gods before me, besides me. 8. You shall not make for yourself any idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. So you should make no idols of nothing. I don't care. It shouldn't be no angels. You can't make no idols of nothing that represent no angels. No stars, no moons, nothing, no water, nothing. You can't praise nothing besides the Most High Yah. So all that praising crosses and all that stuff, that's wickedness. The Most High said, do not make any idol in the form of anything in heaven above. So I don't care if it's in heaven. If it ain't Yah, you can't make no idol of it. Or on the earth beneath, or on the waters below. You shall not bow down to them. 9, 5 and 9. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Most High, your Elohim, your God, am a jealous God, a jealous Elohim, punishing the children. This is very important because we always say, well, why is all this stuff happening to us? What's going on? Well, we not learning that we, the Israelites of the Bible, we disobeyed. We did not follow these commands and these laws. And this is the punishment. The Most High said, I am a jealous God, a jealous Elohim, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. Remember that. He'll punish your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren for your sins. So all this notion that they tell you that they rewrote in the Bible saying, oh, you can do what you want and just ask for forgiveness. Yeah, the Most High may forgive you, but that still don't mean you ain't going to get punished. That's what's happening. That's what happens every day. That's what happened. He said it in his word. I will punish to the third and fourth generation. But if you follow me and love me, then I will bless thousands of generations for those who keep my commandments. So if you do right, he may bless your lineage if he have favor for you. So, this is even when I'm talking with y'all, I'm talking to myself. I'm not trying to say that I got it figured out. I'm going off the scriptures. We learning together. We progressing together. I'm fellowshipping with you as well as with myself. I'm learning. I have to keep on, you have to stay in the word. You have to keep on drilling it into you because you have weak moments. You're going through so much in this world. I'm going through a whole lot. Y'all going through a lot. It's people who going through more things than we going through. But you have to realize that you're not trying to be righteous. You're not following the Most High only for yourself. You're doing it for you, but you're doing it for your cousin. The Most High may have mercy on your cousin, on your son, on your daughter, on your wife, your girl, your man, your husband, your mother, your brother, your father. He may have mercy on them because of your faithfulness. The Most High let Noah's sons and wives on the ark because of Noah's faithfulness, not because of theirs. The lineage of Abraham, the lineage of Isaac, the lineage of Jacob, the lineage of these people, they was blessed because of their faithfulness. It was blessed because of Abraham's faithfulness. When the Most High promised something to you, good or bad, he gonna keep his word for sure. Good or bad. So when he says, you shall not misuse, verse 12, 5 and 11, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord, your Elohim, your God. For the Most High will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. 12, observe the Sabbath, Saturday. Observe the Sabbath. That's what we doing now, keeping it holy. as the Most High your Elohim has commanded you. 13, verse 13. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day, Saturday, is a Sabbath to Yah. On it you shall do no work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your ox, your donkey, so on and so forth. Nobody should do no work that's an Israelite. This ain't for the other nations. They could keep the Sabbath and they can do things and be righteous to the Most High, but this was specifically for us. They'll find favor in it. He may give them favor in it if they righteous. But this is instructions for us. This is what he want us to do, Israelites. Because he says in 15, remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Most High brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yah has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother as the Most High your Elohim has commanded you, so that you may live long and that it might go well with you in the land your Elohim is giving you. That's important. You don't dishonor your parents. That doesn't mean follow them into wickedness. That don't mean you have to do everything they say. When you become an adult, you don't do what they say. You do what the Most High say. You live your own life. You depart from your mother and your father, unless you living in a house. You just don't disrespect them. You don't curse them. You don't put your hands on them. You don't take their stuff. I ain't talking about, oh, you took one of your mama's spoons because you didn't have a spoon to eat. You know what I'm talking about. Things of worth. You don't steal things from your parents and all of that. I'm not saying literally if you can't take a piece of celery out your mama's cabinet without feeling out her refrigerator without feeling like you stole. That's not stealing because it's your parent. I'm saying things of worth. But you definitely don't follow your parents into no wickedness. Because then you would be choosing a person over the Most High Yah. So parents, a lot of parents mistake this stuff and think that means, oh, do whatever I say. I don't care what it is. If I tell you go prostitute your body, go prostitute it. If I tell you you can't get married to so and so, I determine who you marry. If I tell you, give me all your money or come over here and serve me all day. No, it don't mean none of that type of stuff. That's just somebody trying to take the scripture and take advantage of their child. That's not of Yah. But it means don't disrespect your parents, don't curse your parents, love your parents, because your parents was the instrument that the Most High used to get you into this world. They've been through so much with you. They raised you. Without them, you wouldn't even exist. You couldn't have got to the point. You didn't get to the point that you got on your own. They had to give you some milk. They had to make sure that nobody kill you. They had to make sure they didn't throw you in a dumpster. They had to make sure you didn't fall and break your neck. Obviously, it's the Most High, but is He using your parents? He's giving them that ability to watch out for you. So don't dishonor them. You shall not murder. That's not talking about your enemies. That's talking about your brothers and sisters, Israelites. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Don't be lying on your neighbor. You should not covet your neighbor's wife or husband. You should not desire what's in your neighbor's house or their land. So anything that your people, your neighbor got, other Israelites. It ain't got to be the person living next door to you. That's not what neighbor just mean. You should not be coveting their stuff. Should not be jealous and envious. You should not be lying on your brothers and sisters, Israelites. You should not be trying to sleeping with their husbands and wives. Everybody should have their own husband. If it's 3 women that got one husband, that's their husband. If it's 1 woman that got one husband, that's her husband. But definitely with the brothers, you cannot sleep with each other's wives. If a sister say, hey, I want to bring this woman and give her to you as a wife, and you say, she says it's okay, you say it's okay, that's not against the Most High. That's not adultery. But brothers talking about, oh man, look at her, man. I'm finna sleep with old boy woman. I'm finna sleep with his baby mama, his wife. I know they together. You don't do that. You break up homes. You cause confusion. You cause chaos, fighting, doing these things. The Most High is not a God of confusion. He's not an Elohim of confusion. He's not an Elohim of all this fighting amongst and all this bickering and craziness. That's not Yah. That's man doing that. That's Satan doing that through men. Okay. We're going to get to the blessings for obedience. The Most High went over all through Deuteronomy. We're going to go over these things, but you should be reading Deuteronomy. Chapter 14 talks about the clean and unclean animals that you can eat. Chapter 15 talk about how canceling debts. You know how they cancel debt in society now after 7 years. That's what they got this from. They got that from Yah. They got that from our people. After 7 years, your debt is over. That's from the Bible. That's the Most High Yah said that. But that's supposed to be amongst our Israelite, our brothers. You were not supposed to hold no debt over your brother head or your sister head for more than 7 years. After 7 years, it cancels out. Deuteronomy 16 talks about our celebrations, the Passover, the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of the Tabernacles. Deuteronomy is extremely important to read. Deuteronomy 13 talks about not worshiping other gods. And the extent of how serious the Most High is about that. The Most High say, Deuteronomy 13, I'm just gonna read the whole chapter. Worshiping other gods. If a prophet or anyone who foretells by dreams appears among you and announces to you a miraculous sign or wonder, and if the sign or wonder of which he has spoken takes place, and he says, let us follow other gods, gods that you have not known, and let us worship them, you must not listen to the words of that prophet or dream. So all these people, fortune tellers, prophets, and all these people that be talking about they this, they that, if they trying to lead you to any other gods besides Yah, or if they trying to big they self up and tell you to follow them, that's not a Yah, that's wickedness. The Most High your Elohim is testing you to find out whether you love him with all your heart and with all your soul. It is the Most High Yah you must follow, and him you must revere. Keep his commands and obey him. Serve him and hold fast to him. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death, because he preached rebellion against Yah, who brought you out of Egypt and redeemed you from the land of slavery. He has tried to turn you from the way the Most High Yah commanded you to follow. You must purge the evil from among you. So this is how we would deal with those types of things, and how the Most High told us to deal with those types of things. Obviously, we know in these times we're not allowed to govern over ourselves. We have no control over ourselves. We don't police ourselves. We don't have the unity. We don't have judges and leaders amongst our people to say what should be, who follow the Most High, and how it should go, who going off the scriptures. But the Most High said, people doing that wickedness, telling you to follow other gods and moving you against him, we were supposed to put them people to death, because we didn't want that type of spirit to spread amongst the people, then everybody be doing it. And we know it happened because it happened in the desert. It happened when the people made the golden calf. It happened many times, praising false gods. He says, if your very own brother, this how the Most High don't play, man. If your own brother, your son or your daughter, or the wife you love, or your closest friend secretly entices you, saying, let us go and worship other gods, gods that neither you nor your fathers have known, gods of the people around you. The people around you with their gods, whether near or far, from one end of the land to the other. Do not yield to him or listen to him. Show him no pity. Do not spare him or shield him. So don't protect him. You must certainly put him to death, him or her. Your hand must be the first in putting him to death, and then the hands of all the people. Stone him to death because he has tried to turn you away from Yah, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid, and no one among you will do such an evil thing again. See, all this stuff telling you about to have all this tenderness and mercy towards everybody and towards sin and all this, that stuff been rewritten in the Bible. You can tell because it goes against the original message of Yah. That stuff has been rewritten. The Most High say you cannot turn a blind eye. You cannot just let people do wickedness and not say nothing, not do nothing. That is not his intent amongst our people, because if you don't do nothing, then you know what's going to happen. It's going to keep spreading. If somebody is allowed to just kill somebody for no reason, if you're allowed to just rape women, molest children, and nobody will do anything, which is a lot of what happens in our community, then it'll just keep happening. It's going to destroy people's lives, put wicked spirits on people. And the Most High did not intend for no other nation to rule over you and tell you what you can do, when you can do it, how the punishment should go, what's the severity of the punishment, because we know we supposed to follow Yah. We not supposed to look at no other nation and tell you what to do. They don't follow Yah. A man is not supposed to determine life or death, what punishment should be what. That's for the Almighty to establish. We know in this society, for some drugs, you'll get more time for somebody having some drugs than you will for somebody abusing a child. Somebody, a grown man could stick his penis in a child, or fondle a child, or do sexual intercourse, rape and molest a child, and they'll get 2 years if they get some time at all. They'll get 2 years, 5 years. But if somebody might get more time for having some crack rock in their pocket. So some drugs is more valuable than a child's soul and their spirit and their life to these Caucasians and these other nations, because they don't care about stuff like that. They don't feel like that's wrong anyway. Then we know they don't really care about no drugs for real, because they bring the drugs in, but it's all a game. But you can't look to no other nation to govern over you. But because we disobeyed, this is what's happening. And I'm about to just get into that. I'm not. The Spirit is telling me just go ahead and get into that. I'm gonna go straight to Deuteronomy 28. If you have any questions about what is happening to your people, who you are as an Israelite, why you going through this, read Deuteronomy 28. Blessings for obedience. If you fully obey the Most High your Elohim and carefully follow all his commands I give you today, the Most High Yah will set you high above all the nations on earth. So if we would have been obedient, the Most High Yah would have set us high above all nations on earth. It's in the word. All these blessings will come upon you and accompany you if you obey the Most High Yah. You will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. So no matter where you live, you will be blessed if we would have did this. And if we do this in the future. Because the Bible, when the Most High is giving us these instructions, this is for the past. He was giving our people these instructions in the past, in the present, and also in the future. The fruit of your womb, that's your children, your seed, will be blessed, and the crops of your land, and the young of your livestock, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. We were shepherds. That's how we made money. That's how we lived. We lived off our own animals, off our own land, off our own crops. Some of y'all don't even know this, and you have to teach it to your children. They don't even understand what farming or crops. They think the food actually is made in the grocery store or something. Like them greens that you eat, they wasn't made at the grocery store. They came from a farm. They was bought, dug up out the ground, bought on a truck or bought on a train, in a crate, in a box, to the grocery store. But that's not how the Most High intended. We were supposed to be on our own land. So therefore, you don't need nobody to be over you if you produce your own stuff. If you can eat on your own. Your basket and your kneading trough will be blessed. Again, we talking about food. You will be blessed when you come in and blessed when you go out. So when you enter the world, you'll be blessed. You'll be blessed when you leave the world. If you obey. This is what the Most High say. The Most High will grant that the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. So anybody who would have rose up against us would have been defeated. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in seven. So the Most High basically saying, I will allow you to kick their butts. I'll allow you to kill them. And when you win, if any survivors, they gonna run, they gonna flee from you, they gonna be gone in multiple directions. Y'all gonna be, you're gonna be basically invincible if you obey. The Most High will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hand to. So everything that we were supposed to try, any work that you do, your relationships, everything that you touch was going to be blessed. The Most High Yah will bless you in the land he is giving. So he was talking about the land of Canaan for those people, those Israelites, but any land that I put you in, you're going to be blessed in. Because remember, it talks about the past, the present, and the future. The word. The Most High will establish you as a holy people, as he promised you on oath. If you keep the commands of Yah and walk in his ways, you will be holy. We still a holy people, but we not acting as such. It's not an appearing as such because we went against the Most High. But these was the things that was going to happen if we would have been obedient. If our ancestors would have been obedient, this is what would have happened. Then all the peoples on earth will see that you are called by the name of Yah, and they will fear you. The Most High will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your womb, your children, the young of your livestock. That's food. That's money. Cattle and livestock is food and money, and the crops of your ground, that's food, and the land he swore to your forefathers to give you. The Most High will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. So he will make sure that the land is well fertilized. There's plenty of rain for the crops. You will lend to many nations. So other people was gonna come to us for stuff. But we'll borrow from none. We wasn't gonna need no other people for nothing. We were gonna be self-sustainable. We wasn't gonna need nobody for no food, no toilet tissue, to wipe our butts, nothing. We whatever we supposed to need, we was gonna have off the land or make from our own hands. 28 and 13. The Most High will make you the head. The head is the lead, not the tail. The tail is the buddy and the end. It's after the butt. It's the very end. If you pay attention to the commands of Yah that I give you this day and carefully follow them, you will always be on top and never at the bottom. Do not turn aside from any of the commands I give you today, to the right or to the left, following other gods and serving them. So this is Joshua. Who's speaking? Is this Joshua speaking or is this Moses speaking? This is Moses speaking to the people. Joshua came after Moses. After Moses passed away, Joshua took over and led the people. But these is the commands from the Most High. Do not turn aside from any of the commands I give you today, to the right or to the left. That means you can't change it. You can't say, well, I'm going to do a little bit, but I'm going to make it how I want to make it. No, do not turn aside to the right or the left. Do not follow other gods and serve them. That's the Most High's biggest thing. He goes over and over again, following other gods, because it's simple as this. If you listen and follow other gods and go in other ways, then you're going to disobey all my commands anyway. So obviously that's the most important. Loving me and not following other gods is the most important thing. Now we got to get to the meat and potatoes of it. We got to get to the bulk of it. Curses for disobedience. This is how you know what we going through. This is how you know who's an Israelite, if they going through these things or went through these things. And all of this stuff is happening. And you can't deny it, and nobody can deny it. If they deny it, it's just a pure lie or just pure delusion. 28 and 15. However, if you do not obey the Most High your Elohim, and do not carefully follow all his commands and decrees I am giving you today, all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Your basket and your kneading trough will be cursed. The fruit of your womb, that's your babies, will be cursed. The crops of your land, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. You will be cursed when you come in and cursed when you go out. So we curse when we come into this world, and we curse when we go out. You curse with problems. You curse with going through all this stuff. You curse with somebody governing over you. Somebody make money off of you soon as you come into the world. Women have babies in the hospitals. They make money off of you. They take things out of your body and they use them for they medicines and they in creations and different things that they do. They take parts of the afterbirth and use them to make medicines, quote unquote. Use them to make cosmetics. Use them to make sunscreen. All things that benefit them and other nations. They charge you money to be born. How you going to charge somebody money to be born? With pure wickedness. But it's because of the curses. Curse when you come in, curse when you go out. Charge people money to die. How you charge somebody money to die? You charging somebody money to die. Do you understand this wickedness? This is in the scriptures. They take your organs when you die. You don't have your organs in your body. They take your organs out and they sell them and they use them for stuff. They tell your family that you being buried. You're not being buried. Common sense. You're not being buried. They burning your body in fire. They not burying you. That's why when they put the casket in the ground, they don't put no dirt over the casket or nothing. They wait till you leave, and then they bring that casket right up, take your butt out of it, and then they tell some resell the casket or the rental of the casket to somebody else and pretend like you gonna be buried. You not finna be buried. And please don't put nothing in that casket, no jewelry and all that stuff. They taking it all. Curse when you come in, curse when you go out. Verse 20, 28 and 20. The Most High will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to. So he gonna stop everything you put your hand to. That's why you say like, oh man, why black people can't never get ahead? Why is that's Israelites? Why we can't never get ahead? The Most High said he gonna stop everything you try. So maybe a few of y'all might do something, but as a whole, it's millions of us. Most of y'all ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And even the ones who quote unquote having a little success, typically they having it through wickedness. And they gonna pay the ultimate price. So don't think that's the way out. Oh, if I just go ahead and do wickedness, I can get some earthly goods, some earthly riches. But you still gonna come crashing down, and even that coming with a price. Satan and them wicked nations, you think them rappers, actors, and athletes and all them, you don't think they paying the price for having that stuff? You know they paying the price. They can't say what they want to say. They physically abuse them, sexually and mentally abuse them. Then they spiritually abuse them. Then they make them abuse other people. They try to make them put them spirits onto their people, but ultimately you done sold your soul. So what you think gonna happen to you when you perish? When you leave the body, you through. You through. So don't go in that direction because we don't live in the physical that long. Some of us don't even get 30 years. Some people that pass away early. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years tops. Most of our people ain't living 80 and 90 years old and 100. Not most of the time. So you do get that little bit of wickedness. They don't allow them to stay on top for that long. They done sold they soul, did all this wickedness. Then what you think gonna happen to them in the end? In the spiritual realm. Where you think they going? You already know. The Most High will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him. The Most High will plague you with diseases, tumors, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes. Whether it's true or not, who they say is the leads in all them categories. They claim it's us. Now, that may or may not be true because, of course, they're going to claim it's us because they want to keep you in a state of fear. They want to keep you in a state of hopelessness. But it might be us. But even if it's not us leading, we know it happens to us. But it wasn't supposed to happen. The Most High didn't want this for us. All this sickness and disease, all this cancer. And it ain't like the Most High, he just allowing it to happen because of our wickedness, but he still ain't doing it. It's because of the foods being poisoned, all the poison cancer causing things in your shampoo, your toothpaste, your soap, your lotions, all them parabens and sulfates and all that stuff. Do the research. That's what's caused cancer. The chemtrails, the pollution, the plastics, the poisoning of the water, Flint, Michigan. Flint wasn't the only place. Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor, Michigan was worse than Flint. They done did it. They done did it all across the country. Them ain't the only places. They poison the food, the water, everything. This is what's causing all of this. But the Most High said He was gonna let it happen. You excuse me. You reading it right here. 28:21. Yah will plague you with diseases until He has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. 22. The Most High will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, with blight and mildew, which will plague you until you perish. The sky over your head will be bronze, the ground beneath you will be iron. That could mean many things. That could mean saying darkness in the sky. Iron. Iron is hot. The ground is hot. The ground don't yield hard. That can mean many things, because remember, the Bible be literal at times, it be metaphorical, and it can be literal and metaphorical at the same time. The Most High will turn the rain of your country into dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. Famine, drought. 25, very important. The Most High will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven, and you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. I'm going to read that again. The Most High will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. Excuse me. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven, and you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. Now, who the heck is that talking about? Please tell me all these people that's putting all these other nations in the 12 tribes, all these other nations that's trying to claim to be the Israelites, the chosen people, who is a thing of horror all over the world? So-called black people. No matter where you go, being mistreated. Almost no matter where you go. A thing of horror. If you being projected on TV everywhere as a hoodlum, a thug, a whore, insane, homosexual, crazy, wicked, fighting all the time, beating up people, killing each other, robbing everything. This is what you being portrayed as all over, all across TV, all to all the countries in the world. A thing of horror. Even you got your own people. Ugh, I don't like my people. I don't like myself. I don't want to be a thing of horror. You will be defeated by your enemies. You take the guns, you try to protect yourself, you build a community, Black Wall Street, they destroy it. You get the Black Panthers and other groups, they kill you, they put you in jail, you'll be defeated. These other nations come over, they take you, they defeat you, they put you into slavery. It happened many times, over and over again, part of the curses. You cannot win without Yah. If you're an Israelite, you're not going to win without Yah. You know how people say they want to win. You're not going to win without Yah. Not as a whole. It's impossible. And even the people who doing wickedness and they projecting to you that they winning, they Israelites, and they, oh, I got this money and all this. We know all that stuff is fake and facade. They don't be having all that stuff. They be in debt. They have to sue. Look at like somebody like a Lil Wayne. As successful as he was, so called in the music industry, all them records he made, he had to sue for his money. He had to sue Baby for his money. So you're not even getting what you owe. You selling your soul and you still ain't getting none. You kissing them in the mouth and doing whatever with them, and you still ain't getting no money for real that you supposed to have. Then you done sold your soul. It ain't worth it. Not by a long shot. And I ain't picking on him. It ain't just him. It's all of them. Whether you see them doing it or not, they all doing that wickedness. Ain't none of them really got nothing for real. It's all facade. It's to get you to believe that if you do wickedness, that you will have glory. And then they all turn around and say, that's why you have to call on the name of Yahweh, the Most High Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. It's different variations. No need to argue about that. But you have to call on the name of Yah. Because talking about, oh, I love God, I know God. They all say that. And they can say it with confidence. It's true. They do know God. Whatever God that they talking about. Whoever that they made a God. So they not lying when they be like, oh, thank God, I love God, when they do their little speeches and all that. They not lying. But they not talking about the Almighty God. They not talking about Yah. They talking about whoever they talking about. Who knows? That's why the Most High say, you shall not have any other gods besides me, because there's plenty of gods, thousands of gods. Y'all know that. Stop playing. Look at Greek mythology, Egyptians, Hindu, it's all type of gods. And you can make something a god. That's anything that you bow to and pray to and that you put over yourself. Like, we have to stop playing. Back to the scriptures. So the Most High say that you're going to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven. And you will become a thing of horror to all kingdoms on earth. We know who that's talking about. 28 and 26. Your carcass will be food for all the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth. And there will be no one to frighten them away. Now people will say, well, when did that happen, brother? Okay, I'm going to just go back to the most recent time. When our brothers and sisters was getting hung and lynched off of trees, Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday, Strange Fruit, the song she made, when we was getting hung off of trees, the crows, the ravens, the birds become pecking the flesh, eating the flesh. Just like the scriptures say. If your body was left in the street, the dogs will come eat it. They just don't leave you in the street now because they be using your organs and different things, selling them, trying to keep Caucasians and other nations alive off your organs, selling them to the highest bidder. They don't just let you rot in the street anymore because of its worth in your body, your organs and stuff. These days they don't just let you rot in the street. Plus it could spread disease and different things. So they come get your body. But back in the day, just in the 60s and 70s, they'll let you just hang there for quite a while. Let the birds and stuff eat you, the dogs. And I'm sure in other places of the world, while people was going through this, some places they do. The dogs and the animals just eat your body after they kill you. The Most High, 27, the Most High will afflict you with boils, with the boils of Egypt, and with tumors, festering sores, and the itch, from which you cannot be cured. Tumors, cancer. Don't say it don't happen. Cancer. A tumor is cancer. 28. Very important. The Most High will afflict you with madness, blindness, and confusion of the mind. In America, Babylon, the new Babylon in America, who do you see most of the time walking around out their mind, talking to themselves, Just because you talk to yourself don't mean you out your mind, but just talking stuff you can't make no sense of, don't know what to do with they self, and even blindness and madness, it ain't always the people that you think a homeless person or a person that's so-called crazy out they mind, that's the one that's really confused. The madness is people doing wickedness, doing the same thing over and over again. All they talk about is smoking and drinking. All they do is fight and yell at each other, yell at their seeds, beat on each other, hate each other. All throwing all these gang signs and gang culture and death and killing each other. That's madness. That's blindness. Blindness where the truth is in front of you. The Bible, you say you follow the Bible. Things that's in the Bible, though, you don't even follow. You only pick and choose the stuff that typically the churches and stuff, they preach the stuff that's really been rewritten by the Caucasian and other the Romans and all them nations that really ain't even the words of Yah. That's the only stuff that y'all want to follow. Or you following things that's not in the Bible that you think is what you're supposed to be following. Following Christmas, following Thanksgiving. Then none of that stuff is of Yah. I don't care what your church or religious leaders tell you. That's not of Yah. Talking about turn the other cheek and give your other cheek for them to slap if they slap your cheek and obey your masters in the flesh. That's not a Yah because it contradicts. If you was obeying people in the flesh, then you can't obey the Most High. You're going to obey the man or the woman. That's rewritten. They even had something called a slave Bible. A lot of these things in the Bible, so you have to study the Bible because that's what you got. But you have to know the difference between what's of Yah and what was rewritten to make you subservient and slave like. They even had something, go look it up, the slave Bible, where they would take scriptures, rewrite them, and make it specifically for you to serve your slave master and whoever. Or they will only present those Bible verses. Servants, obey your masters in the flesh and all that type of stuff. Do what your master say. Turn the other cheek. If I spite you and slap the one cheek, give me the other cheek to slap. You think that's a Yah to tell you to let somebody hurt you and abuse you and rape you and do all these crazy things and just accept it and sit there, especially another nation? That's insanity. That's not no of Yah. And I believe that y'all got more sense than that. And if you don't got more sense than that, excuse me, I'm trying to plug up so we don't lose power. If you don't got more sense than that, then you need to have more sense than that. But blindness, madness, blindness, and confusion of mind, not knowing what to do with ourselves. And we all going through it. I don't care how much you know, we all going through it. You can't escape the curses. Just even not confusion of mind, not knowing what's exactly what, not knowing everything to do, not being able to do it, not knowing what to do with yourself in this wicked world. Because if you don't do wickedness, a lot of times you can't find your place in this world. If you're not willing to just go through the motions, if you spiritually want something deeper, you be confused. You don't know what to do with yourself. Anxiety, fear, all these different things, confusion, madness, scared, fearful. We got to put all these cameras up and lock your doors and do all this stuff and trying to, thinking somebody gonna hurt you or knowing that they could hurt you, wanting to hurt other people. People so angry, road rage, all that stuff is talking about all that type of stuff. All this killing, want to kill each other, want to hurt each other, want to argue all the time. As soon as somebody say something to you, we take everything personal that another Israelite say. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to be gentle with each other. I'm going to keep going. 29. At midday you will grope about. So you will walk around. You will be going in circles. You will be muddling about, basically, like a blind man in the dark. So that meaning like at midday, that's the middle of the day. All these brothers and sisters not having no jobs, not having nothing to do, just walking around, nothing to do. You will be unsuccessful in everything you do. Day after day, you will be oppressed and robbed with no one to rescue you. Unsuccessful in everything you do. We open businesses. People don't want to go to our businesses, or they shut us down. You can't go to work. They hating on you at work. They firing you. Things happening. You can't make it to work. Your car and stuff breaking down all the time. You keep trying and trying, but you like, man, I can't get ahead. It's nothing's working out for us. All these years, no matter what we do, we start this organization. They crush it. We do this, it don't work out. We build up and make a Black Wall Street. They come destroy it. We can't get the loans. We can't come together. We can't keep our family together. All of that. You will be oppressed and robbed. Oppressed by the police. Oppressed by each other. Robbed by the white man. Robbed by the Chinese man. Robbed by the Arab. Robbed by each other. Robbed by these other melanated nations that ain't Israelites. Sold into slavery. Robbed every day. You paying $10, you paying $50 for something that costs 50 cents to make. That's being robbed. You paying $100 for shoes that cost $2 to make. That's robbery. That's highway robbery. You paying all this money for food, half of it ain't even real food. So you paying to be poisoned. Come on, man. You will be oppressed and robbed with no one to rescue. You will be pledged to be married to a woman, but another will take her and ravish her. Who that happened to? You will have a woman, have a wife, the overseer, the slave master, raper. Another nation take over y'all. They rape your women. They take her and ravish her. Even in the modern day times, you want to have a wife, a woman, a girlfriend. You love her. Somebody else will take her and have sex with her. Take her and bust her down. The Bible be meaning multiple things. They'll take her and ravish her. That means take her body and do what they want with her. How you see things, a woman will be call on the phone, let her boyfriend or her husband hear her having sex with another guy or multiple guys. That's being ravished. All of it's in the word. You will build a house, but you won't live in it. We built up this country. We built up other nations and other countries. They live in the houses. They have all the money off our backs. You know how many millionaires and billionaires was made off of slavery? So when y'all be trying to give credit to these Caucasians and these Arabs and these other nations talking about, man, they doing this, they got this, they got that. They got it off the backs of you and your ancestors, fool. They didn't get it off their own merit. They got it from stealing from you. What are you talking about? You will plant a vineyard, a garden, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruit. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will eat none of it. Your donkey will be taken away from you, forcefully taken away from you, and will not be returned. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and no one will rescue them. That's your goods. We were shepherds. Your possessions will be taken away from you. This is key. 32. 28:32. This talking about black people, your people, the Israelites. Who this happened to? Not saying everybody who was melanated, because everybody who melanated ain't an Israelite. It's specifically the people who this happened to, and the people who share this DNA and this lineage. 28:32. Your sons and daughters will be given to another nation. Slavery. And you will wear out your eyes watching for them day after day, powerless to lift a hand. Now, all these other nations, this didn't happen to you. You're lying. That happened to our people, slavery, taken to other lands, taken across seas. Your people looking for you to never see you again. That happened to our people. A people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce. The Israelites that were over here in so-called America, in all these other countries, where these Spaniards, these Portuguese, these Dutch, these different races, the Arabs, different people came and took your land, killed you, put you into slavery. In America, when we say the Native Americans, y'all think of the Native Americans was a different people. Most of them was Israelites. Most of them look like us. They came and took your land and started building on it. Killed you off, took you into slavery, killed you off and took over your land. Didn't give you anything. Even took who you was. The $5 Indian, go look it up. The Dawes roll, go look it up. These people that say that they Native Americans today was not the Native Americans. They paid $5 to the people who did the census. The people who did the census, excuse me. You know what the census is, where they come and they try to see who's what, who lives in the house and all that. Back in them times, they did it. They had something called the Dawes roll. You have to research these things. They paid to say that they was Native American or Indian because they would get benefits for claiming your heritage. They would get land. So they took our land, killed us off, put us into slavery, over here too. And then even the people that the things that we were supposed to get with the treaties, other people came and took that away from us and said, "No, we the Indians, we get it. Y'all don't get nothing." You know that your great grandmothers and all them told y'all that y'all was Indian, Native American, that y'all was Choctaw, y'all was Cherokee, y'all was Seminole, y'all was this, y'all great grandmothers and all that stuff and grandfathers told y'all these things. But y'all let them trick y'all and say, "Man, you ain't that. You just African." When Africa was named after a Caucasian, it wasn't even called that. Do we have some lineage and connection to people in Africa? Some people, yeah, but not all of them. They not all Israelites. Some of them are. We scattered all over. The Bible tell you that. So we got connections all over. A people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce, and you will have nothing but cruel oppression all your days. Who that sound like? The sights you see will drive you mad. The Most High will afflict your knees and legs with painful boils that cannot be cured, spreading from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. I don't know when that happened, but if the Most High said it, it didn't happen or it's going to happen. The Most High will drive you and the king you set over your nation to a nation unknown to you and your fathers. Babylon, America, Canada, the UK, There you will worship other gods, gods of wood and stone, crosses, statues, pledge of allegiance, all that stuff, flags, statues, crosses. You will become a thing of horror. 28:37. And an object of scorn and ridicule to all the nations where the Most High will drive you. Anywhere that you send Israelites, even other melanated nations, if you do the research, we've been persecuted. Muslims, Arabs with black skin persecuted us. You have to do the research. Other nations, even in the past, they was melanated. They persecuted us. If you was an Israelite and they knew that, they would persecute you because you was the chosen people of the Most High and because you went up under these curses. To this day, anywhere we at, you persecuted, you looked down upon, you harassed by the police, you beaten, you killed. We're going to go to 31, 28, and 41. I'm sorry, 28, Deuteronomy 28:41. You will have your sons and daughters. You will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them because they will go into captivity. Captivity, slavery, prison. So not just slavery, remember, literal and metaphorical. It can mean multiple things as well. Captivity is being captive, being taken, being put somewhere against your will, somewhere you can't get out, somewhere you don't want to be. Slavery, prison, because prison is modern day slavery. But prison ain't a new thing. It's nothing new under the sun. Who is in prison all over? Who is the most person in prison in America? Black people. Who went into slavery? Black people. Israelite black people, specifically. The alien, that means foreigner, who lives among you, will rise above you higher and higher, but you will seek lower and lower. Again, the foreigner who lives among you will rise above you higher and higher, but you will seek lower and lower. Why you think people come over here from other countries, even some parts of Africa? Because there's some of them is not Israelites. They come over here, they go other places, and they come up. People from other nationalities come here, go other places, come up quick. People come to your neighborhoods and they can have a successful business. The corner stores, the gas stations, the Arabs, the Chinese spots, the food places. They'll have success. But you say to yourself, dang, why our people can't? Why the black owned businesses can't have success like that? Have somebody else come over here and we'll go to all they establishments and they won't shut them down, they won't harass them. They places be nasty a lot of times. Them gas stations don't be clean. Them gas stations ain't serving the best food, but they don't mess with them. They can have their ice cream trucks and go to our neighborhoods and everybody will support them and buy the ice cream. The lawn people, they can do all the lawns in our neighborhoods. Try to go to a Mexican neighborhood and try to get some work and some business in a Mexican neighborhood. I bet you won't get none, and I bet your ass will get ran up out of there. But then you got other people trying to tell you that they Israelites. And you'll be like, bruh, when did Mexicans go into slavery? And it's not picking on Mexicans, but it's being for real. When did Mexicans go into slavery? When did that happen? They had a slavery that we don't know about. When did this happen? Mexicans don't have no businesses or nothing. Yes, they do. They got plenty of businesses. They get business off of us. We the ones that ain't really got no businesses. We the ones that struggle to keep businesses. That's why I say, I'm not saying that it's Israelites that are Mexican, that are so-called Mexican. I'm just using the term Latin. Some of these other nations, but all of these other nations are not the 12 tribes. Not the research I've done. Not the research that I've seen others done. I don't know what that is. Again, could I be wrong? Anybody could be wrong, but not based off my research. Not based off the scriptures. They women ain't being taken and ravished away from them and all that. When does that happen? Who has the history of being abused and everything they do? I'm just reading off the scriptures. You know who they talking about based off the scriptures. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, but you will be the tail. Who's behind in everything? The alien who lives among you will rise higher and higher again, but you will sink lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, but you will be the tail. All these curses will come upon you. They will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed because you did not obey the Most High your Elohim and observe the commands and decrees he gave you. The foreigner rises above us. Other nations hate us. People keep trying to link themselves to all these other nations. They don't even like you. They'll kill you. What are you talking about? They hate your guts. They don't think if you ask these other nations, that's why you got all these people trying to say who is what, and make them a part of your group. Go ask any of these other nations. They'll tell you that they not you. If you ask any of these other nations and be like, are you an Israelite? Are you like the blacks around in America and some of these other places, do you share the same lineage in them? They'll tell you in a heartbeat, no. We not them people. They'll tell you that in a heartbeat. They not you. But you trying to claim to be them. And you trying to claim lineage and stuff with them. Like, yeah, I'm not going for that. Because I don't believe that's true. It's not, they don't show it in the scriptures. They don't tell you that. If you did DNA, it's not gonna tell you that. So where does that come from? I don't get that. But anyway, I'm not gonna harp on that. 28 and 45. All these curses will come upon you. They will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed because you did not obey the Most High your Elohim and observe the commands and decrees he gave you. They will be a sign and a wonder to you and your descendants forever because you did not serve the Most High your Elohim joyfully and gladly in a time of prosperity. So when it was going good, we didn't serve the Most High like we should. Therefore, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and dire poverty, you will serve the enemies the Most High sends against you. So at the end of the day, it ain't letting nobody off the hook. We still got to be truthful. We got to call these wicked nations out for what they did, and the Most High is going to make them pay for what they doing. They not getting off scot-free. But the Bible said, you will serve the enemies Yah sends against you. So he making sure that they can do what they do. The Father controls everything. You think they could do this on their own? He's allowing them, allowing Satan to use them, allowing them to be able to do this stuff to us year after year, decade after decade, for centuries. He's allowing this stuff to happen because of our disobedience. 49. The Most High will bring a nation against you from far away. from the ends of the earth, like an eagle swooping down. Who is the bird of America? The eagle. Like an eagle swooping down, a nation whose language you will not understand. A fierce looking nation without respect for the old or pity for the young. The Caucasian. You know who they talking about. The bird of America. The eagle. A fierce looking nation that don't care if you old or young, they'll do whatever to you. They don't care about killing you, hurting you, they don't care. They will devour the young of your livestock, the crops of your land until you are destroyed. They will leave you no grain, new wine or oil, nor any calves or your herds or lambs of your flocks until you are ruined. So basically they're gonna leave you nothing of your possession. They're going to lay siege to all the cities throughout your land until the high fortified walls in which you trust fall down. They will besiege all the cities throughout the land the Most High Yah is giving. They're going to take all your stuff. All your protection, anything you make for protection ain't going to work. Because of the suffering that your enemy will inflict on you during the siege, this happened in the past, when our kingdoms of Judah, Yehuda, what we would call now Judah, when our kingdoms of Israel, when they fell to the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and these other people, the Persians, all that. When they took over us, it was madness. People was turning on each other. People was trying to read the Bible, read Kings, read Chronicles. They was making deals with the other nations. They was giving over into wickedness that the other nations was doing. This is what happened. And it may happen in the future too. Because of the suffering that your enemy will inflict on you during the siege, you will eat the fruit of your womb. The flesh of the sons and daughters Yah has given you. So eating the fruit of your womb, killing your children, harming, that means doing some type of harm. I don't think it literally means cannibalism, but eating the fruit of your womb, killing your children, doing harm to your own children. Even the most gentle and sensitive man among you will have no compassion on his own brother or the wife he loves or his surviving children, and he will not give to one of them any of the flesh of his children that he is eating. It will be all he has left, because the suffering your enemy will inflict on you during the siege of your cities. The most gentle and sensitive woman among you, so sensitive and gentle that she would not venture to touch the ground with the sole of her feet, will begrudge the husband she loves and her own son or daughter, the afterbirth from her womb, and the children she bears. For she intends to eat them secretly during the siege and in the distress that your city will inflict on you in your cities. So again, when you being overtaken by your enemies, when it happened in the past, giving your children off to them, killing them, that's eating the fruit of your womb. That means destroying your own self. And it could mean cannibalism. That could be possible. I don't know. And what I don't know, I don't speak on. Because these people trying to sit up and tell you that they overstand everything, that they know everything. The only way you gonna know everything, you will have to be Yah. You ain't the Most High. How you know everything? You a man or a woman. Even if you was a prophet, you only know what the Most High giving you, and the Most High ain't giving no man or woman all the information. We know that's lies. So anybody telling you that, you already know that you should stay away from them, because that's a false prophet. They operating off ego. They want the glory for themselves. If they talking about, I'm the only one know anything, How you know what you the only one that know? How you know? How can you say who the Most High will give some information to? How you gonna say that? That's your ego talking because you want to be recognized by the people and you want to be looked at as high and mighty and over and better than everybody else. That's not saying you ain't better than nobody, but you ain't better than everybody. And you can't speak for the Most High and say who He gave what information to. That's inaccurate. They reading from the same word, whether it's this, whether it's the NIV, the King James with the Apocrypha, the Torah. They still reading from a book to get the information. So the same way they can read the book is the same way you can read the book. The same way that they can get insight and interpretation on it, the Most High could give it to you. And if you read the word and you study how the Most High operates, the Most High do not pick braggadocious men and women with big egos to do His work. Most of the people that the Most High picked lacked confidence. They was outcasts. They was people that people didn't even want. They wasn't the popular person, and that's not even how the Most High operates. So you know they fake. Just because somebody say they're Israelite, just because somebody say the word God, just because somebody say that they a man of Yah or a woman of Yah, don't mean it's true. Don't mean they walking in the ways. Now, if they calling on the name of Yah, then okay, they might be real. They might be good. They might be righteous. But they ain't gonna be perfect. But you have to look at they acts. You can't just go strictly off of words. And even if what they telling you is true, the Most High says, "Study to show thyself approved." You supposed to study for yourself. You have to establish your relationship with the Most High. That's your personal relationship. You got to do your work for the kingdom yourself. You got to do your work for the Most High. You got to be righteous within your own self. So it ain't about worshiping and praising no man or no woman. Oh, my pastor this person that. Oh, they so great. That's idol worship. It ain't about that. The only person you supposed to be speaking like that about is the Most High. If somebody is a prophet or a leader or whatever, and during these times, we don't even know who that is. But even if they are, listen to it if it's righteous and it resonate with you and it's right, listen to it. But study for yourself. Study to make sure that it's true. Talk to the Most High to make sure it's true. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Don't just go off nobody's word. Because we know any man and any woman that got a tongue can lie. Anybody can deceive you. The Bible says it's going to be a lot of false prophets in these times. It's going to be a lot of people trying to lead people astray, pretending. It's going to be the ones doing outright wickedness, but it's going to be a lot doing undercover wickedness. I thank y'all for y'all time. I know this one went long, but I pray to the Most High Yah that we uplifted him, that I uplifted him with this message, that we uplifted him together. I pray that the message resonates in your heart. I pray that you turn to the Most High Yah, that you turn to Yahweh, and that you turn to Yahweh Shah, that you ask forgiveness for your sins, that you do righteousness in your heart, that whatever is ailing you now or might be ailing you in the future, that you can find peace, that you can find healing in the Most High, because we all battling things, whether that be spiritual struggles and battles, physical struggles and battles, sickness, whether that be addiction, sickness, just people attacking you, you fighting off things that's, going on within you where you trying to do better, and we all going through all types of different things, and we need to go to the Most High Yah with these things, and we need to band together in righteousness, not judgment, not fighting, not trying to say who better than who, studying the word and trying to help each other to the best ability, our abilities, and going back to the Most High Yah with our full hearts and souls. I don't know how much time I got on this earth in the physical, but I'm trying my best to do the Most High will. I'm trying to glorify Him, do righteousness, not dwell off into the problems I have, not worry, not be fearful, to find peace and to find love and to give peace and love. Even when I don't, or if I find myself like, hey, I'm doing some patterns, I'm doing too much complaining, or I'm being too hard on somebody, or I'm judging somebody, then you have to try to go back, ask for forgiveness, apologize to that person, and say, wait, what right do I have to pass all this judgment on you? I'm far from perfect. I've done plenty of things, and even if I change my ways, we don't all change at the same time. And I don't care how much you change, you still gonna fall short. So I don't need to be pointing the finger, nor you, at anybody else, because when you point your finger, your thumb is pointed back at you. You got to look at yourself. Do the best you can. That's all you can do. And hopefully we can build each other up, whether that's from afar or near. We can build each other up and help each other, because it's hard, man. It's hard to just go through this every day. We in turmoil as a people. And we living in a wicked, deaf, sick, vile, satanic world, where it's all about chaos, craziness, confusion, lies, murder, sexual perversion. All these things is prevalent in this world, and we have to fight against so much. But we have to keep on telling ourselves, we know that we're not alone. Father, we know that you here with us. We know that your angels are surrounding us. We know that if we seek you, you're there. We just can't give up and give in. We got to fight, fight, fight as much as we can. I try to tell myself this, and I don't do it enough, but this is something that, was placed on my heart to tell myself and tell others. You know that Satan and these wicked people out here, their job every day that they get up is to do wickedness. Your job every day that you get up has to do righteousness and follow the Most High. It's two opposing forces, so you got to make sure you do your job, because they're going to do their job. And the Most High going to see your efforts. Your efforts, if you put your efforts toward Him, even if you feel like they in vain, they not in vain. Because we know everything happens for a reason, and you cannot do nothing and it don't have a consequence, a result. It's either going to be a good result or a bad result. And if you're doing righteousness, the Most High saying to itself, okay, I see you. Even when times is bad, you still doing it. I love that. And I'm gonna help you. And I'm gonna give you the glory. Whether it be in this life or the next, you're gonna get it. Because I see you. When times was hard, because you gotta think about it. If everything going right for you, it's kind of easy to be like, oh, praise Yah. I got a bunch of money. I'm healthy. My children is fine. They thriving. Everything going good for me. We got 2, 3 cars in the garage. We got a big home. Everything is perfect. Well, yeah, it's pretty easy but it's hard when you're sick, when somebody bothering you constantly, when your wife arguing with you, your mother, your father, when people hating on you, when you get fired from your job, all this. It's kind of hard to have faith in the Most High and love and trust Him when they tell you, man, you got cancer. Yeah, we gonna come to Him, but do you really have that faith that He can take you out of that? It's kind of hard to have faith when you see all this wickedness and meanness in the world, all this perversion. It's kind of hard So it make you be like, dang, Father, where you at? Where you at? And I'm the don't you don't have to pretend that you don't say these things and ask these questions like, dang, Father, why would you let that happen? Where you at? Are you here with us? But you know he here. I'm gonna share a quick story. My baby, you be doubting so many things and you be so angry sometimes and sad thinking about all your problems and something else that happened. My baby was having some stomach pains and different stuff the other day, and it was something she ate. And I don't do the doctor stuff like that. But my woman, she took her to the doctor. We took her to the doctor. We didn't stay though because they was taking forever in the emergency room. We prayed, we was praying on it, and I'm saying to myself, like, Father, we got so many problems. I'm ill. We just had a loss. We struggling with money. We dealing with, you know, things in our relationship. We got all these babies. We got people that we need to help. We don't have a lot of resources. People helping us or nothing. It's just so much, Father. So much problems. Do we need another one? And then you have to catch yourself like, wait a minute. You don't want to do too much because it's like it can always get worse. And the Most High with you. Just pray to Him. Next thing you know, she ate one of those little. I gave her. She liked to eat those little nutrition bars. And what happened was a piece of food. I guess she didn't chew it up good enough, and it got lodged in, so it was a blockage somewhere. So it was causing her pain. We stayed at the hospital 4 5 hours. Didn't even get to see nobody. All this typical type of stuff that happens. I had been ready to go. I'm like, cause she started feeling a little better. She was playing around a little bit in there, cause there was a lot of other children in there, and some of them was playing around. I'm like, well, some of these children don't need to be in here, cause if they playing and laughing, child, when they sick, they not gonna play and laugh, or they not gonna eat. But anyway, we take her home. We still worried. We prayed over, but we could tell she kind of feeling better. Next thing you know, later on in that night, she pooped, and the piece of the food that was causing the obstruction came out. And you like, that ain't nothing but Yah. So every time that you think you can't handle no more, and you be like, Father, are you there? Do you really love me? Are you just forsaking me? I'm trying. I'm calling on your name. I'm trying to do right, Father, and it just don't seem like, I'm making no hit. Boom, just like that. He'll show you I'm here. I'll fix that. Stop crying. Stop worrying. And all we can do is thank him because it's tough, man. It's tough. But he always here for us. Every time I've thought this is it, Father, I can't go no further, I can't do no more, he'll show me, yes, you can. You stronger than you think you are, brother. And I'm with you. I'm gonna give you strength, son. I'm gonna give you strength in me. And I praise him and I thank him for that. And I pray that he gives that to you and provides you with everything you need. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Until next time, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shalom, peace and love. This is Brother J. Israel. Thank you.